It didn't explode in flames, and it didn't end in a crash, and it didn't even look dramatic at first. But what happened to Cleetus McFarland at Talladega was worse than all of that. Because 5 laps into the race, his engine didn't just fail, it betrayed him, quietly, brutally. And from that moment on, every single lap became a fight he was never supposed to survive. April 26, 2025. Talladega Superspeedway, one of the fastest tracks in the world, where everything depends on momentum, precision, and power. And Cleetus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell starts deep in the field. 24th, no qualifying session, just owner points placing him near the back. Not ideal, but manageable, because Talladega doesn't care where you start. It cares if you can stay in the draft, and early on, he could. He was moving forward, finding rhythm, sitting just outside the top 10. The car looked strong, the plan was working, and then, lap 5, something snaps. Not metaphorically, literally. A valve spring inside the engine breaks clean in half. In a split second, the car loses a full cylinder, 8 becomes 7, and just like that, the power disappears. You don't ease into that kind of failure, you feel it instantly. The car slows, the pack doesn't, and the gap starts opening like a wound. Over the radio, you hear it in his voice. Not panic, not anger, just disbelief. Brother, this sucker is wide open, everyone is blowing by me. That's the moment most drivers make the call. Pit road, garage, done. Because at Talladega, if you can't keep up, you don't just lose positions, you become a hazard. But Cleetus doesn't pit, he doesn't lift, he doesn't quit, he stays in the throttle. And that decision, that's where everything changes. Because now this isn't about racing anymore, this is about survival. Cars fly past him on both sides, the draft pulls away, the air gets thinner, and suddenly, he's not part of the race, he's chasing it. Falling from the top 10, back toward 20th, hanging on by inches. The engine is wounded, the speed is gone, and every lap feels like it should be the last. But then Talladega does something unexpected. Lap 27, caution, and somehow, impossibly, he's still on the lead lap. That's the break. The one moment that keeps this story alive, because now he has a chance. Not to win, not even to contend, just to stay. And that's enough. Because from here on out, Cleetus McFarland turns into something else entirely. Not a driver with speed, a driver with strategy. Every lesson Greg Biffle had drilled into him before the race suddenly matters more than horsepower. Where to position the car, how to catch the draft, when to lift, and when not to, how to let aerodynamics carry you when your engine can't. And for the next 70+ laps, he executes. Perfectly. Wide open, almost the entire time, clinging to the back of packs, jumping from one line to another, never letting the gap get too big, because once it does, it's over. And the craziest part? It works. Not cleanly, not comfortably, but it works. Lap after lap, he stays attached. Barely. The car sounds wrong, feels wrong, but it keeps going. And so does he. No mistakes, no spins, no surrender, just a broken machine, being dragged around Talladega at full speed through pure will. But Talladega doesn't let stories end quietly. It builds them, twists them, pushes them right to the edge, and with 5 laps to go, it finally snaps. The pack tightens. The air gets aggressive, drivers start making desperate moves, and suddenly, a car loses control. Michael Maples spins ahead, hard into the wall, right in front of Cleetus. At speed, no warning and no time, just chaos. This is the moment where everything should end. One wrong move, and he's collected. Race over, story over, but somehow, he misses it, by inches, threading through the wreck like he saw it coming before it even happened. The car survives, but not untouched. In the aftermath, another damaged car slams into his right rear, a hit that could have easily ended everything. And for a second, it looks like it might, but it doesn't. He keeps it straight, keeps it rolling, keeps it alive, and under caution, something unexpected happens again. He celebrates, not like someone who just got lucky, like someone who knows he's still in this. Both fists pumping, energy pouring out, because he understands something most people don't yet realize. This isn't just survival anymore, this is turning into something bigger, and it's about to reach its breaking point. Over time, one final restart. Cleetus lines up 14th place with 7 cylinders at Talladega. That alone shouldn't make sense, but what happens next makes even less. Because the restart is where logic completely disappears. 14th place, broken engine, 7 cylinders screaming for mercy, and in front of him, one last wall of chaos waiting to happen. The green flag waves, everyone surges forward, and before they even reach turn 1, it happens. Another wreck. Not small, not isolated. A full multi-car pileup erupts right in front of the field. Cars spin, smoke fills the track, lines collapse, there's nowhere to go. This is the moment where races end, where drivers close their eyes and brace for impact. But Cleetus McFarland, he sees something else. Opportunity. I saw them getting tangled up and I said, wait a second, this time I'm going to zag. That's not hesitation, that's instinct taking over. While everyone else reacts the same way, zigging into the chaos, he does the opposite. He zags left, then snaps the car back right, threading through spinning cars like he's slipping through cracks that shouldn't even exist. No contact, no damage, just clean air on the other side, and afterward, he doesn't even try to sound serious about it. That was because my sleeves are cut off. I was able to make that maneuver, tucked one of my wings, and just dodged right out of there. Said, hell no, brother, you ain't taking me out. It sounds like a joke, but it wasn't. That move saved everything. Because just seconds later, the race is over. Checkered flag. And somehow, Cleetus McFarland crosses the line in 10th place. Top 10. After 71 laps on a broken engine, after losing a cylinder on lap 5, after spending the entire race fighting just to stay attached to the draft, after dodging 2 wrecks in the final laps, and doing it all in only his second career ARCA start. Should have been the whole story. It would have been enough, but it wasn't even close. Because what happened next changed everything. While the cars rolled back into the garage, something else was happening online. Numbers started climbing fast. 60 to 70,000 people had been watching his in-car camera live during the race. For ARCA, that's unheard of. That's not just interest, that's attention shifting. And then came the interview, the Fox Sports post-race clip. It didn't just get views, it exploded. 5.8 million views. For a 10th place finish, let that sink in, something about this moment connected. Not just with fans, but with people inside the sport. Because when former driver Max Poppies found Cleetus after the race, he didn't hold back. He's just a badass race car driver that he fakes to be a YouTuber. That line stuck, because it flipped the entire narrative. This wasn't a content creator trying to play race car driver, this was a race car driver hiding behind a camera. And suddenly, people started looking at him differently. Even before the race, there were signs. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had spent time with him that weekend, coaching him around Talladega, showing him the bumps, the lines, the subtle details that separate surviving from competing. That kind of guidance doesn't go to just anyone. And then there was the moment that took over YouTube. Cleetus's twin-turbo, 1,600 horsepower Dale truck, painted in Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s iconic number 3. He brings it to Talladega and hands the keys to Dale Jr. First pass, 140 miles per hour in 660 feet. He lifts early. Second pass, he commits, fully. That video alone pulls 2.1 million views in 2 weeks. The biggest Talladega content Cleetus had ever created. Everything was building. Momentum on track or momentum off track. But not everything was perfect. Because right in the middle of this breakout moment came a mistake that couldn't be ignored. He forgot his hands device on the grid. Safety equipment, mandatory. And NASCAR responded immediately. $5,000 fine, probation for the rest of the 2025 season, his second violation. And just like that, the critics had ammunition again. Because while fans saw the performance, others saw risk. Drivers like Denny Hamlin and Kyle Petty questioned whether he was ready. Not fast enough, not experienced enough, not disciplined enough. And those aren't casual opinions, those are warnings. But here's the twist. The momentum didn't stop, it accelerated. 9 months later, March 4th, 2026, Richard Childress Racing makes it official. A 2-year deal. Cleetus McFarland in the number 33 Chevrolet Camaro. 3 races per year, a real opportunity. And the connection that made it happen? Ty Dillon. He had been watching for nearly a year, following the content, seeing the potential, starting conversations that eventually reached Richard Childress himself. That's how fast things changed. From a broken valve spring to a contract with one of NASCAR's biggest teams. But even now, there's a catch. Talladega, the place where everything started, the place where he proved himself, the place he wants to return to in 2026. NASCAR isn't just handing it to him. NASCAR said, I cannot run Talladega unless I go to Rockingham first and do well. 1 race, 1 test, everything on the line, and even then, nothing is guaranteed. It's no guarantee that he's going to get approved for Talladega. There's a chance he could crash or not run well enough. And if that happens, you know what? You're not ready for Talladega yet. Just like that, the door closes. But if he passes, then April 25th becomes something we almost never see. Cleetus McFarland, racing twice in 1 weekend at Talladega, 2 series, 2 cars, 2 teams, same track that nearly broke him, all with fewer than 10 starts, and none of it exists without that one moment. Lap 5, April 2025, the valve spring snaps, the engine breaks, and instead of ending his race, it started his career. Because he didn't just survive Talladega, he proved something no stat sheet could show, that when everything goes wrong, he doesn't back down. So now the question isn't what he did, It's what comes next, when the pressure gets higher, when the stage gets bigger, when Talladega calls his name again. Does he rise to it, or does the chaos finally win?